going to learn about 10 signs you're actually a genius. Now, let's begin. Number 1, being messy. Throughout history, many of the best-known writers, scientists, and philosophers have had one thing in common besides their unbeatable intelligence. Their living spaces were a complete disaster. In the words of the famously messy Albert Einstein, if a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what then is an empty desk a sign? The truth is that messiness can be a sign of an extremely active brain. Geniuses create these chaotic, unorganized environments to reflect and inspire the creative frenzy in their heads. Why take the time to clean up their room or desk when any little post-it note or paperclip could potentially trigger a moment of brilliance? These geniuses don't care what their room is supposed to look like because they transform their environment into a nest of creation and innovation. However, it is important to distinguish between the messy genius and the messy slob because, from a distance, they can look pretty similar. But if your room is filled to the brim with books, notes, pictures, clippings, drawings, and more inspiring materials, chances are you're on your way to doing or creating something truly extraordinary. Number 2, you're often sarcastic. While overusing sarcasm isn't always a positive thing, sarcastic individuals are often more clever, perceptive, and quick-witted than the rest of the population. Humor based in sarcasm requires you to think on your feet because you only have a few moments to come up with something funny before the opportunity slips away. Even if you aren't actually more intelligent, sarcastic people are generally more confident in their own intellectual abilities, allowing them to excel in academic tasks by simply believing they are smarter than everyone else. And it isn't just them. Overall, most people tend to assume that individuals who are especially sarcastic or clever also have excellent problem-solving and reasoning skills. Think about it. If someone is making fun of you for something you said, wouldn't you automatically assume they would have said something smarter? Because a large part of sarcasm is criticizing other people, sarcastic individuals also develop more sophisticated analytical skills. Who would have thought that insulting other people could be so informative? Number 3, sensitive to noise. Do you get annoyed whenever you hear someone else chewing? Do you hate it when people are having a loud conversation right behind you? If you do, one scientific study says you might be a genius. But what does sensitivity to noise have to do with intelligence? People who get annoyed by noise tend to be deeper thinkers who are able to concentrate more effectively and be more productive than the average person. Noise interrupts their ability to focus, analyze, and mentally explore whatever it is they're doing. So it's no surprise that most geniuses love quiet, secluded environments where no one can ruin their train of thought. Number 4, asking too many questions. Curiosity is one of the most important characteristics for a young genius to have, because curious people are never satisfied with simple explanations. Instead, they ask far too many questions while armed with a constant skepticism that leads them to deconstruct and analyze just about everything we believe to be true. Why? Because geniuses realize that nothing is black and white, so they crave a deeper understanding of why and how something happens instead of just settling for the simplest answer. I'm sure you've heard the phrase, ignorance is bliss. Well, geniuses toss the gift of naive happiness aside to pursue the challenging, depressing, and often unknowable solutions to life's greatest mysteries. Number 5, enjoying puzzles. Puzzles can be a great way to exercise your mind in a relaxing yet rewarding way, so it's no surprise that most geniuses also happen to love puzzles. Whether it's a riddle, puzzle box, or math problem, a good puzzle poses a mental challenge by giving you the opportunity to unravel something that initially seemed impossible. Think about the last time you solved a riddle. You probably tried as many different solutions as you could think of to the point where you honestly believed the riddle was unsolvable until all of a sudden you solved it. In this way, puzzles train you to enjoy stimulating creative inspiration, forcing you to consider all options, argue against your own points, and adopt new perspectives. In other words, puzzles help you think outside of the box, which is essentially what makes a genius a genius. Number 6, daily anxiety. While anxiety can be a debilitating mental roadblock that can completely take over your life, studies have shown that many anxiety-ridden individuals are blessed and cursed with greater intelligence, which may prompt them to overthink every situation to the point of emotional turmoil. Worriers tend to have great memories, adept analytical skills, and advanced perceptual abilities because their anxiety forces them to practice these traits every single day. Their worries motivate them to seek out universal truths and question everything, while their constant nervousness keeps their brains active at all times. Even after the event has passed, worriers make a habit of reflecting on every little interaction they take part in. Performing effective reflection is one of the most important characteristics for a budding genius because it teaches you to learn from your mistakes and grow as an intellectual. Number 7, playing an instrument. Have you ever wondered why so many parents force their kids to play piano or violin when they're younger? Well, a scientific study revealed that children with a knack for music tend to be more intelligent than their non-musical counterparts. In fact, musical talent often translates to more creative and academic success in just about any field. But why is music so effective at increasing intelligence? There are a number of reasons, but the most significant is the impact of musical training on higher cognitive functions, such as strategizing, decision-making, and complex problem-solving. Music allows you to practice using sensory information effectively and stimulates unique portions of the prefrontal cortex. Musical improvisation is particularly beneficial by improving your ability to recall and apply knowledge quickly and effectively. Number 8, staying up late. Believe it or not, but your sleep schedule can actually say a lot about your intelligence. So if you find yourself awake most nights at 3 or 4 in the morning, there's a good chance you're smarter than the average person. While a number of scientific studies have shown that going to bed and waking up early is beneficial for motivation and happiness, more nocturnal individuals tend to boast higher IQs, better problem-solving skills, and more creative potential. In fact, plenty of history's greatest minds like Charles Darwin and Winston Churchill have been notorious night owls. But why does staying up late correlate with increased intelligence? Psychologists have discovered all kinds of reasons, including needing less sleep, being more productive at night, and just being more relaxed than the average early bird. Number 9, you read often. Countless studies have shown the profound impact that regular reading can have on cognitive development. Like puzzles, reading is another way to exercise and challenge our minds while supplying a constant stream of new information, concepts, and vernacular. Too many people don't stop to consider the sheer volume of mental gymnastics required to view, process, and understand a single written word. Doing this process hundreds of times forces you to recall spelling, definitions, grammar, and syntax, in addition to a number of figurative rules related to figures of speech, metaphors, and context clues. But the benefits are not just limited to literary proficiency. Avid readers tend to be more patient and disciplined while learning how to apply information to expand their limited perspective. They're far more receptive to new opinions and develop superior communication skills, which gives them the tools to succeed socially. Like watching movies or listening to music, reading activates a unique portion of our brain and inspires us to imagine, analyze, and innovate. Reading also allows you to foster emotional maturity by integrating others' experiences into your own understanding of who you are. In other words, reading is good for the mind, body, and soul, and geniuses know that better than anyone. Number 10, you're strange. The truth is that a majority of geniuses were only beloved and admired after they'd made their life-changing breakthrough. But before that, most of them were socially awkward, reclusive, and just a little bit strange. Why do you have to be weird to be a genius? Because the few geniuses in the world tend to think differently than anybody else. Their unique perspective may inspire their next great invention, formula, or piece of art, but it also stands in the way of their ability to function like every other member of society. They may struggle to hold on to lasting friendships, relationships, or jobs because their mind is concentrated on more important things. It isn't uncommon for geniuses to adore some bizarre hobbies, like collecting insects or carving sculptures out of soap. So, if you've noticed that your hobbies and habits aren't exactly normal, you might just be a genius in the making.